Yo guys, it's Mole here and we're back with another King God Castle video, KGC video. Today we're doing a hero plus item combination video. This is again more for the newer players, the beginners who are trying to understand the game, trying to learn it and want to know what items fit what heroes and how they benefit them to make them stronger. Now if you're just interested in the list itself, a graphic will be there at the end of the video. You can just go to the last 30 seconds or something of the video and have a look at the entire list, pause it, read it, or see it rather. But if you want to listen to my explanation behind each hero and why the items work and how they work, then yeah, stick around, watch the entire video. Again, there's going to be some exceptions of some items and some heroes, like some things might work, like a staff might work on hero, but it's so low priority on him and so high priority on some other heroes that I won't really be talking about it. You'll get to learn that as you play the game on your own, so it's a very rare case. I'm going to talk about in general what you should aim for. So let's start the video off, and I have a list here already that I have prepared for the heroes and the items next to it, so as you can see clearly. So we'll start off with the first tanks. Now in tanks we have the first four I'm going to talk about is Behemoth, Agathe, Leon and Lily. These guys are pure tanks, and as pure tanks go, pure armor. So it's very straightforward. Your armor items that you build are going to go on these four when you play. Again, some people might be like, oh, but this also works. Yes, but those are very rare exceptions. Second tank list is Shieldia and Rosette. Now Shieldia is a pure tank, but Rosette is more of an off tank and slash DPS, but she fits here, I thought, so I put it here. Of course, shields go on both of them, they're good. Rosette works really well with staff as well because of her skill that does percentage health damage. Having a really strong staff on Rose can make her a really strong boss killer, so she can do a very big damage on bosses. So that's why I put her here. And Shieldia's shield increases in percentage with the spell power, so it can work also. Next is we have ranged DPS. These guys are like mages, if you call them from other games. So you have Priya, she's basically Elsa, so ice witch, I guess. Staff is good for her. More spell power, more ice. The colder the ice, I guess. And Draco, yes, he's a fire boy. He breathes fire. Fire is magic. Magic is staff. Staff does more fire damage. And this Asik, I don't know how to pronounce her name. It also scales with magic or staff. So staff is really good on all three. Asik's chains work with the staff, so more spell power, more chain damage, the longer it takes to break the chains. The next range DPS are more of auto attack based, like Hansi, Aramis and Bombi. We've got attack speed for them. Attack speed works really well for these three because the more faster you attack, the more attacks you get off in, let's say, X amount of time, and because they're auto attack based, so yes, you want more attacks to go off. And then of course you have your sword. So sword buffs attack damage. These are auto attack based heroes. Perfect. You could also use a staff on Aramis, but as I said, those are very exceptional cases because Aramis's skill headshot does mana based or spell based damage, and that can be good, but you'd probably want to go with these two first. Coming to the next range DPS, we have Zoop, Rohawk and Yeon. Zuptar, again, she is the lightning lady, I guess, and her attacks hit for chain lightning every other attack. So bows are really good because the faster you attack, the more chains you can do, and the lightning damage scales with spell power, so staff. Same thing with Yeon. Now on Yeon, she is a DPS and a healer because the ball that bounces between both heals and damages, and that scales with spell power. So the more spell power, the stronger the hit and the stronger the heal. The bow is good on her in many cases. If you don't have, let's say you're not playing with mage altar and you need to build her up fast, like her mana pool up fast, then you can use the bow. But if you're playing with like 15 mage, it's not necessary. You can just put the staffs on her. Rawhawk, I mean, who really cares? Coming to the melee DPS, now these guys are all again more or less auto attack based, so they attack really fast, and the faster they attack the better. But these guys, like a Zuptar, also rely on magic based or spell based damage, their main damage rather, which comes from spell based rather than auto attack based like a Hansi. So I'll go over them one by one and how it affects them. So speed is good for all, because more speed, the more attacks you can get, the faster you build your mana, the more skills you can do in a shorter duration of time. How does spell work for all of these guys? For Changwa, for example, her skill, every second attack and every third special attack, which is a spin, like a Beyblade spin, is mana based or spell based. And the more spell you have, the more damage you do. The more damage you do, the more healing you get from it. So really good. Same with Mara. Her skill is scales with magic. So if you have more on her, her critical strikes are not critical strikes, rather the spell does more damage, and you can literally, stab people in the back really strongly. Same thing with Ren. Her Fruit Ninja sword skills will do a lot of damage if you have a lot of spell power. Now Mel is interesting because spell power doesn't really affect direct damage, but spell power affects the percentage of damage. If you read the text under the hero, it will say 50 plus 20, 50 in I think yellow and 20 in blue. So that means 20 is affected by spell power, and more spell power, so the more percentage damage. So it's really good. Same goes with Joe. You can attack faster, so you swipe your swords faster, and if you have more spell power, you do more damage, as main Joel's damage comes from spell based. Kayn is something similar to Mara. They're both assassins. They both like jump behind your targets and kill them. Having spell power on Kayn is really good because his spinny Assassin's Creed stabby in the back attack does a lot of damage if you have a lot of spell power. And if you're playing with, let's say, mage altar, you can kill one unit and immediately get back to full mana, kill another, get back to full mana, and just jump around the battlefield. Zoyu also has the same mechanic. More attack speed, attacks faster. More spell, then of course does more percentage damage, and it attacks for longer. The next melee DPS is Laika. This guy is not affected by spell power at all, so don't put any staffs on him. There's no point. You just want to go with attack speed so he can swipe faster, and a sword so his swipes hit harder. He's basically that big bad wolf from the Red Riding Hood. Melee DPS next, we're looking at Daniel and Yvonne. Daniel is not so strong right now in season 10, but his skill scales with staff. Spell power, more damage on his special skill. His auto attacks are not so strong, so again spell based. Same thing with Yvonne. Yvonne's spell is really good, especially on higher tiers. As you level up the hero and go, let's say, tier 6, tier 7, his skill almost hits, on tier 7 his skill hits the entire map. So it's a big, Kamehameha from his sword, and it hits everybody, and that's spell based. So if you have really high spell power, you can nearly half swipe or even one shot the entire screen. It's very fun to play and it's really good. Then coming to the only pure healers that we have, Alberion. Staffs work well because his heals scale with spell power. Straightforward, very simple. For supports, you have Bardre. Now Bardre is interesting because her skill, if you know how it works, when her skill is on max, when the mana is max, she casts a skill around her and gives mana to all the players around her. Having a bow on her is good because you can really ramp up your skill faster so that you can give your allies the skill or the mana faster, and a staff can work because more mana is given based on more spell power. So again, this is situational, but yeah, staffs and bows rather are quite good on her. More faster mana, more skills, more overall damage, more stuns, etc, etc. And finally coming to Lunaire. Now Lunaire is like the dump truck of all items, because her whole mechanic works behind her passing on her stats to the hero she's buffing. So even if you have, let's say you're buffing a Mel and the Mel has 3 items already, it's full of items, you cannot put a 4th item. You put the 4th item on Mel so that the stats are transferred from her to the Mel. So now effectively Mel is holding 4 items, right? The stats at least of the 4 items. So yeah, everything else just dumps on her. Of course, you don't have to always dump everything on her. It's if you have something left over that you put on her, but the other guys get the priority. So yeah, I'm gonna now shift to the final end screen and I'll meet you there in a sec. And we're back. So if you see here, now this is like a summary of all what I've just talked about. You can always pause it here, you can have a look through of what items with what heroes. Of course, as you play the game, you will realize that at some points, some items are better to give to some heroes in some builds for that matter. If you're playing, let's say, a Hansi focused build, then you push all your bows and your swords on her. And let's say, it depends, if you have different kind of supports, you pass items differently. Generally, tanks get the armors, DPS get the swords, the bows, and healers and supports get the stuff. Again, very generalizing, but it changes from position to position, from game to game, from run to run. And yeah, as you play, you'll get a hang of it. But this was just a small introduction for those who are just getting into it, because you know, I don't want it to be like you're putting all your, let's say, swords on a Priya and then you're wondering, why is she not doing any damage? Well, because yeah, that's why. So yeah, I hope this helps out and hope you guys enjoy. If there's something else that you would like to see, do let me know. And I have a lot of more videos up on the channel that are focused on different runs, different builds. Check them out. Hopefully you'll like them, and there's a lot more content coming very soon. I am uploading almost every day, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. You can hit the subscribe button if you like, and you know, get a notification. Maybe hit the like, leave a comment, hey, with what you think about this or what starts that you have. It's really interesting and lovely to share with the community and learn from the community, so we can grow and get better. But yeah, that's about it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.